Well, thank you so much for joining today. We'll start today in a comfortable, easy seated position. Maybe that is on your chair, or maybe that is on the floor. You're always welcome to also maybe take a constructive rest if that is something you might want to do. So if you're sitting on the floor, maybe you'd want to put a block or something under the hips. You can bring your legs into a crisscross applesauce, so you could have them out in front of you, with the knees bent or with the legs extended out long. All right, beautiful job. As we settle in to our easy, comfortable seated position of choice, I want you to start to settle in here, maybe allowing your eyes to close, or maybe you simply soften your gaze today, letting the eyes and focus blur over as you settle in here. We'll take a few extended breaths, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth if it's available. Take a moment to scan the body, noticing whether you're feeling any aches or pains, any tweaks or twinges. We don't want to offer these things any judgment or frustration even, but just simple awareness that they're there, that we acknowledge them, and that maybe we can set it aside from our mental mind for the next hour. Not to forget about it, especially if something's not feeling right, but simply to allow our focus to not be on the stories, but simply to be on the sensations as we move through today's practice. We'll start to get into our breathing exercise for today, which is a deep listening breath. With a deep listening breath, we take a long, extended inhale. We pause at the top. We hold that air at the top for as long as feels comfortable to do so. Noticing the silence that's created in that pause. And then a slow, steady exhale. Now you're always welcome to count the pause at the top if that helps with your mental focus. Or simply feel like you're withholding the air in until it starts to feel like you need to breathe. Don't allow it to be a struggle. But once you realize that it's time, go ahead and breathe. We'll take this cycle of breath for a few more rounds as we start to talk about staying open. In a world where it's easy to become closed off, let us challenge ourselves to stay open to love, stay open to change, even to the possibilities or the truth. Being open with ourselves and with others is a gift. When we remain closed off, there's no room for anything. Sometimes I close myself off for fear or worry of getting hurt. But all I'm doing when I close up is hiding myself from the truth. When we close ourselves off, it's like a horse wearing blinders. We are able to see straight ahead, but we're missing all the possibilities for the beauty that surrounds us. So as we take a few more breaths here, maybe even finding our natural breath for a moment. Go ahead and open your eyes, still in this meditative state though, and allow for a soft gaze on everything that surrounds you. And as you take either the deep listening breath or your natural breath, allow your heart to feel open to the things around you. Wonderful job today. Your next exhale, see if you can allow your eyes to soften, close once more. As we come towards the end of our opening meditation, we'll allow our breath to return to its natural rhythm, if it hasn't already. And then take a moment to offer yourself gratitude for anything in your life that you might want to offer yourself gratitude for today. And then as you're ready, begin to wiggle fingers and toes. We'll flutter the eyes open. And let's start to add some gentle movement to our practice. You're seated in the chair. Go ahead and come up to the edge of your chair so that way you have a little bit of room to move. And if you're seated on the floor, make sure you have a straight spine on your inhale. We'll start to circle the arms up and out to the side and maybe even up overhead. You can keep them wide or bring them together or keep them out wide like a T. So anywhere in that spectrum of space around the shoulders or up that feels good for you. Really feel that length and extension through your body. All right, from here, we're going to take a cow face pose. So we're going to drop that right arm down the spine. You can capture the hand, the wrist, or even the elbow. Or if you're using a strap, you can bring that strap in between your arms. So the goal here is to keep that right side lengthened as we draw the right elbow up towards the ceiling. All right, let's inhale to release. Take both hands out or up. Maybe look up this time, lengthening a little bit more. And then exhale, we'll take that over to the left side. Capturing anywhere along the hand, the wrist, or the elbow as you draw the left elbow up towards the ceiling. Great job. Let's exhale to release. If you're using a strap, go ahead and set that to the side for now. And then we're going to take some shoulder exercises. Now for this option, we have variations. You can either bring your hands to your shoulders and let the elbows come out wide, or you can bring your hands down to your hip, again, letting the elbows bend and go out wide to the side. For this next few breaths, we're going to comb our lat muscles. So as we inhale, we're going to lift our elbows as high as we can, keeping our hands where they are. And then with an exhale, we're going to drop the elbows as far as we can, feeling how that rotates those shoulder joints as you inhale and exhale. Now, if your hands are on your shoulders, it might look a little different than if your hands are on your hips. There might be a little bit more rotation there, but listening to where your shoulders and back are feeling today. Inhaling, elbows up, exhale down, and feel the way those lats or those shoulder muscles are moving in the back of the spine. See if you can start to sink your movement to your breath, inhaling on the up movement and exhaling on the down movement. All righty. Next exhale, go ahead and bring your elbows back to neutral, pointing to the side. And then we're going to start to take some circles with those elbows. If your hands are on your shoulders, maybe the elbows come in towards kissing and then circling out. And if your hands are on your hip, your circles are going to be more out to the side. All right, just a couple more on this side. And then go ahead and pause and reverse those circles. All right, go ahead and pause. We'll inhale, circle the hands back up or out. Maybe look up. And then with an exhale, let's twist it towards our right. Bringing our gaze towards our right shoulder. That left hand can be on the inside of the left leg or the outside of the right leg as you twist over towards that right side. Our next exhale brings us back through center. Inhale, look up, arms out or up, and then exhale, twist it to the left. Each inhale lengthens our spine, and each exhale softens us into that twist. All right, with our next exhale, let's go ahead and come back through center. All right, for this next pose, if you're on the floor for variations, go ahead and come down onto your right side, onto your elbow and your hip, and stacking your knees. If you're taking this seated in the chair, we're going to turn to the side and let our arm rest over the back as we bring our body into a similar shape, resting on the side of on the chair itself. All righty, no matter which variation you're taking, start to take your top leg and take it out long, lengthening it. Maybe even lift it off the floor a little bit, just noticing how it's feeling today to move through that hip and glute. And then let's start to bend the knee and bring the hip back, or bring the ankle back towards the hip. Now, if you're using a strap, you might want to wrap a strap around the ball of the foot. Or if you want to reach it with your hand, that's an option as well, drawing that heel towards your hip and taking a quad stretch here. Great job. Go ahead and release on that side. And then we're going to flip over to the other side, either in our chair or on the floor. Stacking knees, resting on the opposite side. Maybe the elbow and arm resting to support you either on the ground or on your chair. And with our inhale, we start to straighten that top leg. Again, maybe we lift it up a little bit off the ground. Maybe we start to bring a bend into it, bringing it back towards our hip and capturing it with our hand or strap, drawing it into the quad stretch. Great job. Exhale to release that foot, and then we can come into a wide-legged seated position. So coming back through center, sending the legs out wide as you can. Now you can keep a bend in the knees, or you can start to lengthen the legs, pressing through the heels and pulling those toes back. Whichever variation you have, we lengthen through the spine on our inhale, and with the next exhale, take a hinge into a forward fold. You can keep your hands on your legs. You can bring them onto a prop or maybe onto the floor in front of you. Now, as we move through our poses today, you're always welcome to come back into that deep listening breath, inhaling slowly, taking a long extended pause, enjoying the silence maybe, and then exhaling, sinking a little deeper into your variation of choice. All right, with our next inhale, we're going to walk our hands back towards our hips, lengthening our spine up. And then let's take this into a one-legged wide position variation. So if you're seated on the floor, we'll keep the right leg long and tuck that left leg into the inner thigh. If you're seated in the chair, we're going to keep that right leg long, but we'll bring a bend into the left leg, keeping the foot flat on the floor, and it can be in line with your hips or even open a little out to the side, just giving you a nice counterbalance there. Our next inhale, let's begin to draw our right hand down that extended leg and take that left hand out in the opposite direction, opening up through the heart space here. Now with your next exhale, take your gaze down towards your right leg. And with an inhale, rotate through the neck as you begin to inhale and look up towards the ceiling. You can look all the way up or just to where the room and the wall meet in front of you. And then exhale to bring it back down. Take that nose rotation, just a few cycles of breath, moving through the neck here. That back hand can be out to the side, it can be up or even lengthened over the ear. All right, last breath here. Exhale to look down. And then with a sweep of that top hand, rotate it down towards your extended leg, taking it into a forward fold. Great job. Inhale to a straight spine, and let's twist or switch sides. Sending that left leg out long and either tucking the right foot on the inner thigh or bringing it into that bent knee position. You're doing a beautiful job here. We'll start to walk the left hand down the left leg or even to a prop. That feels like a better option. As we send the right hand out to the side and back, we start to find and lean into this side bend. Just like before, that top hand can be out to the side. It can start to lift up towards the ceiling or even alongside the ear. And with your next exhale, take your gaze down towards the floor. Inhale, look up. Take this with your breath. Just a couple cycles. Last breath. Our exhale allows that top hand to circle down towards the left extended leg as we find our forward fold over that extended leg. And then let's inhale to roll up back to a straight spine. Beautiful job today, warming everything up and getting it flowing and moving. Let's go ahead and come on up to a standing position in your own time, in your own way. We start by coming into a mountain pose, making sure our weight is equally distributed between both feet as we stand tall. Feel that stability underneath us. Allow your shoulders to pull back so that your heart pulls forward. Wonderful job. Inhale, circle arms up, reach them up. Feel that extended reach. Again, maybe even looking up. And then with our exhale, let's swan dive it down, taking it into a forward fold. Hands can come to your lap, your prop of any option. As we bend the knees deeply and allow the head to start to drip down towards the floor. Our next inhale, let's lift halfway, coming into a figure 7. Gaze stays down. Exhale, hinge into your forward fold. Bend the knees deeply, take a slow roll. Start to come all the way up to standing. Once your shoulders arrive, hands stay by your hips for a moment. And then inhale to circle up. Again, maybe look up. And then let's take it into a side bend. You can keep your right hand on your hip or maybe over to your prop. As you lean towards the right, we take the left hip out to the side. Great job. Inhale back through center, maybe look up. Exhale, left hand comes to hip or prop as we lean to the left. Inhale, go ahead and come back through center. And then we're going to twist, taking one hand in front of us, one hand behind us. Inhale through center. Exhale, twist to the left, taking opposite hand behind you and opposite hand in front of you. Inhale back through center. And then let's exhale and drop the hands out wide to a T. Great job. We're going to bring the right hand under the left hand and we'll come into an eagle arm variation. Maybe hugging ourselves, maybe bringing the backs or the front of the hand together, or maybe grabbing that strap in between the arms, lengthening the spine up. You're doing a beautiful job here. We'll take one more breath. And on your exhale, keeping your arms in the same position, let's just bend into the knees like we're about to sit into a chair pose. We're going to pause here for just a moment. You're doing great. Another 3, 2, maybe sinking a little lower on 1. Inhale to lengthen the spine and unwind the arms to your T. Great job. Let's take that on the other side. So this time left arm comes under right, or switch it up depending on which arm you use. Start to hug back, lengthening through the spine. If you want to take a different hand variation, feel free to find the bind of your choice. Really feeling those shoulder blades, the area that we were breathing through at the beginning of class. We want to feel them, instead of moving up and down with this one, we want to feel them spreading apart, creating space back behind our heart. And then maybe staying here, maybe starting to sink into your bend of the knees. Like you're about to sit into a chair. We'll take 3 breaths here. Maybe with each exhale, allow yourself to sink in a micrometer more. Beautiful job. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to release. Great job. Take your hands by your side. And then let's take a few shoulder rolls, letting them come up by the ear and then back and around. Great job. Now reverse that. Noticing how the shoulders are feeling. We've been kind of shoulder intensive this morning, so just getting things warmed up there. All righty. From here, let's come into a standing tabletop variation. So you can use any prop you want. It could be a couple of blocks. It could be your chair at either height. But we want our hips to be in line with our heels and our hands to be in line with our shoulders, and a straight gaze as our spine from hips to the top of our head are straight. From here, we're going to bend the knees, making sure we're not locking them out. And then let's take a few cat-cows, letting the belly drop, the gaze open, and then rounding the spine away from you. Take this at your pace for a few cycles. Inhaling to open, exhaling to round. Noticing how this feels in your body. Great job. Go ahead and step it back into your mountain pose. And from here, we're going to take either a grounded crescent lunge or a standing crescent lunge. So if you're coming into a grounded crescent lunge, go ahead and bring that left knee back down to the ground and feel free to maybe add just a little bit of cushioning to it. As you come into your crescent lunge, we sink the hips forward. You're taking this from a standing variation. You'll keep that back knee bent but lifted, maybe even having a prop in front of you for just a little bit of support. So wherever we're at in our crescent lunge, we're squeezing our thighs together as we sink our hips down. We're pulling our belly button towards our spine, lengthening up through the top of the head. And you can keep your hands on your prop. You can bring them to a prayer at your heart, or even lift them up in the air, either together or separate. If you're feeling it all wobbly, take just a moment to widen your stance, so that way you're feeling steady and sturdy. Alrighty, from our twist, let's bring our left hand, the same one as the back leg, either towards the right side of our prop or to our right knee, and we're going to twist our right hand behind us. Great job with our next inhale. Come back through center, and we're going to take a runner's lunge or half runner's lunge, depending on if you're standing or on the floor. So if you're on the floor, maybe you bring some props in front of that under your hands, peeling the toes back, lengthening the legs. If you're taking this from a standing variation, we'll straighten that front leg, and then we'll all exhale as we hinge over that front leg. Now, noticing if we're feeling that strongly in the back ligament of the knee, and if so, bring a gentle bend into it so that the stretch can move into the meat of the muscle. Great job. Inhale to come back to your straight spine. And then we're going to take this to the other side. So if you are on the floor, we're going to come through a tabletop and then bring your opposite leg forward. If you're taking this from a standing variation, we'll step that back foot in and then switch sides. So we'll come into either our grounded or standing crescent lunge. Take your time, feel steady, maybe even take a hand bind or a prayer or something else. You're doing great, really building that strength in our lower body by keeping those thighs active. Beautiful job. All right, let's take that right hand, twisting it out. Inhale to come back through center. Exhale, we find our half runner's lunge, lengthening our spine. Exhaling to hinge over that front leg. Again, maybe there's a bend in that front knee. Great job. Inhale to roll through. Come back to your straight spine. And then from here, we're going to come back into our mountain, getting there in your time, in your way. All righty, from our mountain pose, we'll move into a pyramid pose next. So we'll come back to that first side, stepping the left foot back about 2 to 3 feet. We allow the heel to stay lifted, or we pull it down, and then we keep that front leg straight. So there's like a little pyramid or triangle in between our legs here, but our hips are staying facing front. From here, let's take our hands into a bind at the lower back. You can interlace fingers, wrist, opposite elbows, grab your shirt or grab that strap. Wherever we're at though, we're drawing the knuckles down, we're opening through our heart space, maybe even lifting the gaze just a little bit. Beautiful job. All right, with that next exhale, we'll start to find our hinge into a forward fold. Trying to keep our hands in the bind. You're more than welcome to stop at the halfway point or even go a little bit deeper. Again, noticing that ligament in that front knee and making adjustments to the stretch as needed. You can keep your hands on your hips or you're always welcome to lift them off. And if you're feeling completely unstable, you can release those hands and bring them down to a prop instead of taking the bind. Great job. Take a slow roll, coming all the way up to standing. And then we're going to take a little balance challenge. So we're going to start to sweep that back leg as we put our weight into the front leg and then bring it up in front of us at hip height or as high as feels good. And you're always welcome to set it on a prop for a little more support here. Great job. Now we have that knee out in front of us and we're going to open it out to the left side and take a tree pose. You can bring it down to the ankle, have it anywhere along that leg, but we're opening the knee out to the left. Now, if you're starting to feel stable, you can keep your hands on your hip or a prop, or maybe you start to lift them up in the air. Find a spot on the floor that's not moving that you can look at, and this will really help with your balance. Beautiful job. Bring hands down, knee forward, and then release back into your mountain. Beautiful job on our left side. Let's try that on the right. So we start with our pyramid pose. We take our right foot back about a foot or two. We're creating that triangle in between our legs with our hips forward. We take the bind at our back, but switch it up somehow, some way. Draw those knuckles down. Feel that heart opener. Notice if it feels any different on this side than it did on the other side. Next exhale finds our hinge as we start to fold over that front leg. Maybe pausing at halfway or maybe going all the way down. Noticing how it feels through the front knee and maybe adding a bend. Maybe keeping the hands on the hips or maybe lifting them up. Your hands are lifted around your hips. Your exhale releases them and inhale, roll up to a straight spine. Great job. From here, we're going to find that flow, shifting our weight to the front leg, starting to gracefully bring that knee forward. Feel free to touch down as much as you would like. And then inhale to open the right leg to the right side to find your tree pose. Feeling steady and want to grow branches? Maybe they're a cactus. Maybe it's a circle. Maybe it's a Y. Or maybe you're blowing in the breeze, just like those winds outside on this rainy day. Wonderful job. All right, let's bring our hands down to our hips or a prop. Bring the knee back through center. Set it down in a mountain. Take any movement your body needs. Beautiful job. Let's inhale, circle arms up and overhead. With an exhale, we're going to hinge into our forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, tall mountain, reach it up. Side bend to the right. Back through center. Side bend to the left. Back through center. Twist it to the right. Back through center. Twist it to the left. Back through center. Let's end the sequence with a cactus of the arms, pulling the heart forward, the gaze up, shoulder blades back. Great job. Inhale, circle hands up, and then bring them down through a prayer. All right, from here, we're gonna go back to that left side, step the left foot back into a warrior one. So we're gonna turn the toes out to the side just a little bit, but then make sure the hips are in line with that front leg, and then start to bend deeply through that front knee. A little or a lot. Take a moment to take that right hip and pull it back just enough so your hips are in neutral position facing forward, the hip points. And then just like before, hands can stay on your prop, a prayer, or maybe up in the air. Beautiful job. With our next exhale, let's take our left hand, the same one as the back leg. We're going to bring it to our hip or slide it down the back leg as we reverse our warrior one. If you want a little more stability, take that front hand onto a prop as you lean back. Or maybe take your gaze towards your back foot. Great job. Come back through center. And then let's step that up to the front. Taking it to the right side, we find our warrior one. Bending deeply into that front knee, you're doing great. Inhale, find the arm placement of your choice. You're doing great. Strong warrior ones, just like in our lunges, we're pulling our thighs towards each other and the abdomen towards the spine. Great job. Let's take that right hand either to the right hip or down the right leg as we reverse our warrior. Inhale to come back through center, stepping it up. Beautiful job. Let's go ahead and take our left leg back for one last lunge variation. As always, you're welcome to take the knee to the ground, but we're going to do a bit of a balance challenge here. So you may want to keep that knee lifted for this lunge variation. Alrighty, with this next inhale, I want us to take our hands into an airplane arms. Now, if you're feeling unstable, keep one hand on your prop and circle the other hand back into an air variation, or maybe both hands. They squeeze like we're pulling our pinkies together behind us, and then start to lean the torso forward at about a 45-degree angle. And if you're on the mat, it's going to look similar. There you go. Great job. Now, if you'd like to take the balance challenge, we're going to really focus our attention in that front leg. Going to keep the hands either in airplane or bring them to a prop and start to lift that back toe a little or a lot, coming into a airplane warrior three or grounded warrior three. Beautiful job. Go ahead and bring that back foot back towards the mat. Airplane lunge. Inhale, bring it up. Exhale, twist it to the right. Come back through center and then step the back leg forward. Or if you're on the mat, we'll go through your tabletop and switch that way. So either way, we're back in our lunge of choice. Either knee on the floor or lifted. And let's find our airplane lunge. Heart pulls forward, pinkies squeeze towards each other. All right, if you'd like to take the variation, we bring our hands towards a prop or keep them in the airplane as we start to lift the back foot a little or a lot. Exhale to bring that back foot or knee to the mat, airplane lunge. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, twist it to the left. Inhale to come back through center. And from here, we're going to move into a puppy or dolphin pose. So if you're on the mat, come down into a tabletop and then drop the elbows towards your prop as you sink forehead and heart towards the floor. And bring those hips back as far as feels good. If you're taking this from a standing variation, it can feel much better to bring a blanket or something over the back of your prop, and then let your elbows rest on said prop as you also walk your hips back and begin to let your forehead drop between the arms. Now, if you're taking a standing variation, you may even be able to rest your forehead on your prop. Either variation, you can have your hands extended out in front of you, or maybe you bring them to a prayer at the back of the head, which would change the stretch just a little bit. Make sure if you're standing, you're keeping a nice generous bend in your knees. Great job. Our exhale releases us from our puppy pose or dolphin pose. And then let's go ahead and come back onto our right side if you're on the floor. If you're on your chair, we'll come into a seated position on our chair, just like before, leaning onto that right side. All right, we did a lot of work in our body today. Let's hug that top knee in towards our chest. Get just a little bit of compression and take a few ankle circles. And then reversing. All right, let's go ahead and bring that ankle back towards our hip, coming back into that quad stretch. Again, feel free to grab that strap if that feels better for you. As you bring that top ankle towards your hip and draw the knee away from you, feeling lengthening through that top quad. Great job. Exhale to release. We're going to revisit the other side. So we switch sides. Coming on to the opposite side. We curl the knee in towards the chest, getting that compression at the inner hip as we start to rotate through the ankle. And then reverse it. Let's exhale to bring the heel back towards the hip. Beautiful job. Bring it back through center. And then we'll set up for a legs up the wall variation. So if you're on the ground, rolling on your back and lifting those legs up the wall in the fashion that you are comfortable with. Now, if you're taking this from a chair variation, you can still do this either by coming onto a couch or a chair nearby, or any way that you can start to bring your feet a little higher than your heart. So one of the ways I like to do it is to bring my chair up to a wall, sit with my hips forward and my torso back, and then I bring my feet up the wall a little bit. And again, the goal is to get your ankles and feet higher than your heart. So no matter where you're at, you may even have just like a nightstand or a desk close by that's a little higher. I'm using blocks, but if you had something like this that didn't quite get them up all the way, but still elevated them a little bit, that would be a great option as well. So wherever you're at in your legs up the wall variation, Maybe you allow your eyes to close or you settle in here. You can either flex your feet, bringing your toes back towards your shin, or maybe it would feel better to point the toes away from you. As we explore here, it might feel better to keep the legs lengthened and long, or maybe it would feel better to open them a little bit wider into a wide-legged variation. Sometimes when I'm feeling low energy, my legs up the wall has a bent knee variation. So that way I'm giving myself a little more gentleness. So all of these and none of these and anything else could be a great variation as we settle in to whatever legs up the wall variation feels good for you today. Now we're getting towards the end of our class, and this is a great pose to hold for an extended period of time. So you're always welcome to stay in your legs up the wall variation for the duration of the rest of our practice, including the meditation. Although that can also feel intense sometimes, and you're always welcome to come down at whatever point throughout these last few moments of class that you would like. If you'd like to come down into a different resting pose, go ahead and take this moment to allow yourself whatever movement you need to come down. Again, you're welcome to stay there though if you really are enjoying your legs up the wall. And then we'll take whatever variation of resting pose that looks good for you today. You're seated in the chair, you're welcome to stay seated in the chair. You're on the floor, maybe you come into a corpse pose or even a constructive rest with your knees bent and touching. You can add whatever pillows, blankets, or blocks that would help support your practice. You can add socks or a sweater. It's a chilly moment in your life or in your space. But taking whatever movements that you would like so that you can start to come into a position that looks like rest for you. Maybe you close your eyes, or maybe you simply soften the gaze. Keeping both your heart and spirit open to what happens as we settle into this final meditation. Maybe you feel your feet planted on the ground or the wall. Maybe your stillness involves a little bit of movement. This is all okay as we settle in. This is a time for renewal. This is a time for self. This is a time to be open to the possibilities. I invite your energy to start to become relaxed and peaceful. Maybe even letting the hands rest in an open position with the palms gently cupping upward. Maybe you've closed your eyes or simply softened the gaze. On this rainy day, we'll start to draw our attention to the sound of the rain. Maybe it is actively raining in your area, and so that you can hear the rain, or maybe drawing on a memory, the sound of rain. We notice the repetitive sound. Maybe even imagining the temperature of a rainy day. feeling or dialing in or imagining the moisture in the air of a rainy day. Maybe a damp, refreshing scent, or a stinky, wet dog scent, or any other scents that might come to you on a rainy day. And with the awareness of the rain, we recognize the properties of water. It can be life-giving, thirst quenching, refreshing, full of opportunities. But that same water can also be cleansing, clearing, a washing and rinsing away of dirt and things to be removed. Drawing our attention back to the rain, maybe we start to visualize individual raindrops. We imagine them collecting in your palms, creating small pools of water. Each drop that lands in the left palm is a life-giving drop, refreshing, exciting. And each drop that lands in your right palm is cleansing, removing negativity, washing away anything that doesn't serve you or that is holding you back. Allow the drops to collect without judgment, critiquing, or even weighing. Just hold and be present with these dual pools of water, recognizing that each drop is part of the whole, together washing, refreshing. And then slowly, either in your mind's eye or physically, start to bring your cupped hands together at your heart and imagine releasing the pools of water, letting them come together and wash over you. All the clearing, all the drops coming together and flowing into one, releasing, passing over you. Let yourself be here in the present moment again, bringing our attention to the rain or the sound of rain and any sensations you may be feeling. Take a few deep breaths evenly. Rain's flow is one that moves away from low energy and is replaced with vibrant renewal. Here's what the water and low energy are not. They are not here to drown you. They are not here to soak you. They are not here to overwhelm you. Water is here to cleanse you. It is here to calm you. And rain sprouts growth. Maybe begin to imagine yourself dancing in the rain, free of care and worry, maybe a little joy in your moment. Maybe you're dancing by yourself or with a loved one, letting loose. We picture the rain as 1,000 possibilities falling from the sky just for you, flowing into your life. Let the rainy times soothe you, and know that there is always an ebb and a flow in nature. What is dark will be light. What is stuck will flow again. What is pain will be joy. Coming back, listening to the sound of the rain, feeling temperature and the dampness that surrounds you. Taking those horse blinders off so that you can be open to all the possibilities falling from the sky just for you. Today, we will bring that relaxation and renewal into our daily life. Maybe you find yourself being more open to possibilities, enjoying yourself with friends or family or anyone you interact with. We'll take the deepest breath of our day so far, allowing ourselves to be here and open. When you are ready, begin to wiggle fingers and toes. Take any movement as you start to come back into this space. And in your own time, in your own way, we'll come up to an upright position facing me. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a great week.